Many people don't realize this, but even after the official trailers for GTA 5 were released, and I'm not talking about leaks here, the game went through several changes, including removals and additions of various features. In this video, I'll show you some of those changes using mods that bring back the beta essence of GTA 5. This way we can see what the game was like before the fixes and adjustments made for the final version, and trust me, you're going to be shocked by the differences I'll show here. So if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. The first thing I want to highlight, and for me, it's one of the most striking differences when exploring the beta version mods of GTA 5, is the amount of vegetation the game could have had. It might sound like a small detail at first, but trust me, it makes a massive difference. Let me show you now. There's a mod called Forest of San Andreas Revised that is based on GTA 5 beta trailers and leaks to pinpoint all the areas where vegetation was removed or scaled back in the final version of the game. This denser vegetation shown in the trailers gave the map a much more realistic and detailed look. The mod creator went to great lengths to capture this detail, allowing players to experience what it might have been like to play the beta version. If you're wondering why this was removed, it's most likely because at the time of the release for PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, Rockstar realized the consoles didn't have enough power to handle the vast number of trees and environmental details seen in the trailers. When the game was later ported to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PC, a lot was added back, but it still doesn't come close to what this mod delivers. With the mod installed, not only is the vegetation expanded, but additional elements like cabins and campsites are added, features that supposedly were planned for the beta version of the game. I can't say if these campsites were meant to include missions or were just part of the scenery, as I haven't explored them fully. However, what impressed me the most was how the state's interior feels much more alive with this dense forest environment. Here's the comparison. On the left, the original version of the game running on my PC, and on the right, the mod activated. The difference is striking. With the mod, you genuinely feel like you're in a real forest, and the environment achieves an incredible level of realism. Now it's worth mentioning, even with my high-end PC running the mod on ultra settings, including extended draw distance, I experienced significant FPS drops. You can tell that this vegetation demands a lot of hardware power, which explains why it was cut from the final version. However, to be honest, I'm tempted to keep this mod installed. I'll just tweak the draw distance settings to avoid sacrificing performance. It looks stunning and completely transforms the in-game experience. So if you love exploring GTA 5 and want something fresh, installing this mod might be an incredible addition. And trust me, you're going to love it. The second thing I want to highlight here, which was removed from the final game, is something that doesn't appear in the trailers but became evident through various leaked files and development details about GTA 5. I'm talking about the fact that Lamar Davis seemed like he was originally intended to be a protagonist, even if only for a few specific missions. This becomes clear when you play as Lamar using mods or trainers. He has numerous unique dialogue lines, specific interactions with NPCs, especially in Grove Street, where many characters recognize and interact with him naturally. It's interesting to think about how this could have unfolded in the story, whether through alternate endings, exclusive missions, or even unique moments where you'd take control of him. Unfortunately, there's not much official information about Lamar's original role as a protagonist. However, it's reasonable to imagine that at some point in development, he was planned to have a bigger spotlight, even if it was something similar to what happens with Chop, since there's a mission where you can control him. It would have been cool to do something similar with Lamar, especially considering they seem to want to invest in his character somehow. If you're curious, you can try playing as Lamar using a mod menu or trainer. It's easy to set up and lets you replace any of the three protagonists. Of course, you might run into some bugs, at least I did, but overall it's a fantastic experience, and I'm sure you'll have a blast. Now moving on to the third curiosity, this one actually appears in the trailers, specifically in GTA 5's trailer 2. It's about the beta version of Michael. In the trailer we can see a version of Michael with a noticeably different face compared to the final game. Naturally, I got curious about this and started searching for mods that recreated this beta look for Michael in GTA 5. I found some interesting mods, but even after applying them, his face doesn't look exactly like the one shown in the trailer. You can notice subtle differences in the facial textures, which somewhat resemble the beta version but aren't a perfect match. This might be due to updates to GTA 5 that outdated the mods, or perhaps because the mod creators couldn't fully replicate the beta face. It's a shame because even though the final version of Michael is better overall, it would have been really cool to play as the beta Michael and experience that original vision. For those interested, I highly recommend trying out these mods and comparing beta Michael with the final version. It's a small but fascinating difference that highlights how much the character evolved during development. Another feature removed from GTA 5, but that can be brought back with mods, is horses. That's right, horses were originally planned to be part of the game during its beta phase. The concept was similar to how horses functioned in Red Dead Redemption, though without the same level of extreme realism. Still, having horses in GTA 5, especially in the rural areas, would have been a really cool experience. For those who aren't aware, there was even a mission planned called Sharmota Job, which was set at Marty Madrazo's house. This mission supposedly involved stealing horses, but details on how it would have worked are scarce since it was never fully revealed. If you want to get an idea of how this would work, you can install a mod called Cavallo Peruano. This mod actually requires two separate packages to function properly. The first one replaces all deer in the game with horses, while the second allows you to ride the horses and roam around. It's pretty cool, but to be honest, the mod isn't perfect. You can tell it hasn't received as much attention from the community, so some things feel a bit buggy or lack fluidity. It's a shame because if it were more polished, it might give off a Red Dead Redemption vibe, which would be really awesome. Still, it's worth trying if you're curious to experience something unique in GTA 5. Imagine how awesome it would have been to have action scenes on horseback, shooting enemies while galloping through the countryside. It's a shame this concept never made it into the final game. Another mod you can install in your GTA 5 that will completely change the gameplay dynamics and bring an incredible vibe is the SPA2 mod. This mod enables multiple houses and apartments to be purchased throughout the game, bringing back that GTA San Andreas feel where you could buy various properties scattered across the map. Man, I love doing that. Every city had a different house and it was such an awesome feature. This mod also feels a bit like GTA Online where you can own properties, but it's adapted for the story mode. It gives the game a fresh sense of ownership and exploration that really enhances the experience. To be honest, in my case, the SPA2 mod didn't work 100% smoothly. Maybe it's because it hasn't been updated in a while. It might require installing an older version of the game for it to run flawlessly. That said, the houses did show up for purchase and I managed to buy and enter a few of them. The only downside was that the game froze a few times. Even with that, I think it's totally worth installing because it gives you a glimpse of what this feature could have been like, something that was unfortunately cut from the final version of GTA 5. What's even more intriguing is that this functionality is actually shown in the GTA 5 gameplay trailer. During the narration, it's mentioned that players would be able to spend their money buying properties. It's clear they were talking about story mode, not GTA Online. To this day, it's unclear why this feature was removed, but with the SPA2 mod, you can get a taste of what it might have been like. If you're someone who enjoys imagining how these cut features could have worked in the game, this mod is definitely worth a try. Another item on this list that was removed from the final version, and something many players know about, is the Jetpack. Originally, the Jetpack was supposed to be part of a story mode DLC tied to the Mount Chiliad mystery. However, with the massive success of GTA Online, it was introduced exclusively in the online mode as part of the Doomsday Heist and never made its way to the offline story mode. Rockstar really shifted their focus once the online mode started dominating in popularity. This was a huge letdown because the Jetpack would have been amazing in story mode. And it's not just the jetpack. Many features, locations, and weapons now in GTA Online were initially planned for story mode DLCs that were ultimately never released. It's frustrating for players who prefer the offline experience, but unfortunately that's the reality. The good news is that we have plenty of mods to enjoy these cool features that were sadly left out. And guys, even after the official release of GTA 5, there are things Rockstar simply removed from the current version of the game that I'm sure you didn't notice. In this video indicated by the arrow, I explain everything that was in the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions but isn't in the current one, so it's definitely worth checking out. And that's it, folks. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Take care and bye.